Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite paranormal investigator. My name's Tim Sedano. This is Paranormal Insight, and on today's show, we have the one, the only, Vinnie, the Funkmaster, Vineyard. Here he is. Oh, I hit the wrong button, Vinnie. Stand by. Here we go. Oh, man, I'll know how. Here he is. Welcome to the show, Vinnie.
Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to this.
This will be a blast.
I've heard you had a hell of a show. So.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, every time I have one of Kat's guests, friends on here, it's always a blast. So
we're not friends. She's just really attracted to me.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And vice versa.
Special thanks to Kat Ward from Paranormal Heart for getting us together. Thank you, Kat. Let's say hi to some of the folks in the chat, and that's Heidi. Heidi, welcome to the chat. Appreciate it.
Heidi.
And so if you want to incorporate the chat here, you can do it by hitting comments, and you'll be able to see people talking to you.
I see them.
And let's start off with the first question. Okay, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you have a wrestling background. I know you have a film background, so give me like a synopsis of who Vinnie Vineyard is.
Well, I'm a ex-bass player, backslidden preacher, bad father, worse husband, actor, filmmaker, comedian, radio show host, and a ghost hunter, and a TV host. I've done a lot, but the thing that really has kind of flipped my switch recently is we're making these movies, but they're based for a small time. We had I guess about 8 years, we had a television show on a couple small television networks called Wrestling with Ghosts, which was a bunch of pro wrestlers who were protecting this paranormal dork as we went to these southern locations down in Tennessee and Georgia and North Carolina and stuff.
Now, were these legit investigations, or was it scripted?
It was legit. The thing that I think was one of our problems is people thought, oh, these are wrestlers, so this was going to be put-ons. And the thing was, everything we did was legitimate. Now, of course, if we said, look at this weird thing, it may not have been paranormal. It could have been a camera glitch or whatever.
Right.
We never did anything intentional. In fact, one of the guys did, and we got rid of him because for some reason, we had a really, I don't know what it was. We believe in energy when it comes to paranormal stuff. So we back then in about 2016, we won Destination America. If anybody remembers that network.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
We won the Parasearch competition for a new paranormal team that was going to get their own show. And then right around at that time, all of the you're just bleeping out my cuss words.
No,
it's a hard time.
My phone is being a doofus. Okay, go ahead.
But around that time, all television started to change. And so right when we were kind of coming up and getting hip and we had a lot of, we did have a lot of followers through social media and stuff. The rug got pulled out from Destination America, and a lot of things changed with cable television because the money went away. So we did it independently, and we got it sold to some smaller stations. But yeah, these were legit. And there was something about, we really believed in energy, and we used to call it the charge, but I don't know. I don't like that anymore. We just call it, we got together, and this is kind of ubiquitous now, but back then this was new because everything on TV was like, oh, someone's dead. And everybody would ask like, how did you die? And we were like, screw that, man. If these were real people or whatever, right. Our philosophy was we were going to mess with the dudes. We were going to flirt with the girls, and we're going to tease the kids. And what happened was some really unreal evidence over the course of this series, which we still go out about once or twice a year to do an episode, but we've taken our foot off the gas. But we captured some of the crazy stuff. And I say to people all the time, I can't believe a lot of our stuff. I can't believe we're not famous, not because of who we are, but because of what we've captured with how we would go about it, because we got some really unique evidence. Because I'll be on paranormal shows and people be like, I had a box of Cheerios. I went to the bathroom and came back and the box fell over. What do you think about that? And I was like, I had a girl grab my bobalones, the wall, I mean,
Right.
it's like, all right, yeah, the Cheerios box fell over. Let's call the Warrens. But, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody's experiences or anything, but it was,
right.
We had some crazy stuff, but I attribute that not to us being cool or awesome or whatever. I attribute it to the fact that if these things are real humans or creatures or whatever they are, because we don't know, they were attracted or interested because our je ne sais quoi was a little bit different for the time. Now I think people have kind of adopted, you go into a room, instead of asking, how did you die? What was it like when you were alive? People go in there going, hey, how much can you bench press?
Yeah,
and
right.
they get better results doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, real talk with the real spirits. Yeah, I get that entirely. When we do investigations, we're pretty straightforward with our entities as well. Putting real questions, like you said, and I have a background as a private detective, and I actually went to school and learned how detectives proceed through an interrogation or even a questioning session, and so I took that. And then, kind of like what you guys did, I made it a little more personable. So, and you do get better results. It's fascinating.
Definitely.
When you were on these, I'd love to see your pieces of evidence. If you have any videos, that would be amazing.
Hey, you can go to Big N Funky Productions, and we're still on a couple networks, so we can't have every episode, but we have about 5 episodes. And we captured some full body apparitions over the course of doing it for a few years. I think we had 3 on camera.
Cool.
But the thing that really was awesome was just the unique audio responses and intelligent responses. That was the thing that got me kind of like, and we've had so many crazy adventures and so many crazy places. But man, for example, I'm just trying to pull one out of my ear. In a town called Morristown, Tennessee, there was a church that kind of had split. A lot of people don't realize in East Tennessee down there, the East Tennessee, they were Union sympathizers. So there wasn't a lot of fights in the Civil War because they didn't want to separate from the Union.
Okay.
And there were churches that were split, so that you would have the attendees of the congregation. The Confederates would be on the one side, and the Union sympathizers would be on the other side. And in the graveyards, they would segregate them too, based on their allegiance. Even if you were brothers, mom, dad, whatever, the Southerners would go over here, and the people that were Union sympathizers would be on this side. That, with energy, that would create a lot of
tension. Yeah.
And it existed. There was a cannonball that was shot through the church. So it's called Bethesda Church. If anybody can get down there, we saw a big black mass coming through the cemetery, orange lights shooting through the church. And we saw one of those old school lanterns. We were doing, we were just being horses' asses, and we shouldn't have done that in a church. But all of a sudden, the lantern started to sway, and it did not decay for about 6 minutes.
Okay.
So like if somebody bumped, one of them supports in a church, okay, it would the swinging back and forth would decay over time.
Sure.
It kind of looked turkey jerky.
Okay.
And then after that, we went outside and we captured a full length body Confederate soldier walking away from the camera. You couldn't see it with your raw eyes. You could only see it with looking through the camera, which was weird. I've never heard of that. I don't know why.
No, that happened to me on a case. One of our cases. I saw something with my raw eyes. The camera did not pick it up, so reverse.
Yeah.
It was friggin' bizarre. We were in this messed up house, and I mean messed up. I've told my audience about this. This is the one with the, in fact, it's this particular story of that house, in that house, of many. This is the demon monkey story, everyone. So we're actually on a break. We're setting up from one of Heidi's experienced something very similar. We're setting up. We just did an EVP session. We're moving to another part of the house where there's more other activity, and you hear this. I don't know if you can hear that. Almost like a gallop. Something's galloping. And it passes right by the threshold of this door going down the hallway, right? And I see it. And I'm rolling tape at this time. I didn't intend to. I hit the record button on accident. So it was fortunate, but not fortunate. Unfortunate at the same time, because me and the client are there, and we both saw it. Oh my God, what the hell was that? And it looked like a monkey that had really bad posture. Its skin was elephantine, no fur. And how apes run kind of sideways, kind of, and it just roared down the hole. Oh my God, did you see that? We played it back. Didn't show up. The sound did, but the video didn't show it at all. And we were on infrared too. So anyway, maddening. I think I lost your mic.
I would have asked the guy if he needed a chiropractor if he had his spine look like that.
Hey, Mr. Monkey Demon, no, you gotta.
Yeah, come over here. Let me adjust you. In the chat here is Big Luke Walker. I didn't know he was off work today. That's my tag team partner. Me and him used to travel the country, right on, fighting the Dinsians of the Netherworld together.
Right on. You have a demon monkey experience as well. Apparently.
Yeah, I broke up with her. She about split up my marriage, so we don't talk about her too much. Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
no, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So the thing that we're kind of hip on now is we're Luke and I and our friends, Travis Graves, who's a wrestler named El Gordo Gringo, Candy Thompson, who's a badass vocalist, a lot of entertainers with our group, Big and Funky Productions. We're making 7 movies, horror comedies, full-length feature films about the Great Smoky Mountains, the legends and the lore. Wow. And we've had a number of experiences that we can translate into something theatric. And Luke's from Chicago. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. We live in the South now. We live near Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is kind of like like the Wisconsin Dells or the Hamptons in New York or whatever. Okay. It's a tourist kind of thing going on over there. And it's the second largest tourist attraction on the East Coast behind Orlando. There's tons of people, but it's this mountainous area. And it's the Appalachians. And it's really like the last frontier in America, because like when he and I started wanting to make these movies, we were like, they've done New York, they've done Chicago, they've done Texas, they've done California. People are still afraid of Appalachia. People are still freaked out by the things down here. And there should be. There's a lot of weird stuff in these mountains. There's a lot of funk. And
for sure.
In East Tennessee, going into the mountains, it's like it's very advanced, oddly enough. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of tourist towns. Mm-hmm. There's highfalutin internet. There's technology that exists here that doesn't exist in a lot of places. Tons of traffic, tons of tourists. But as soon as you crest over the mountain and start going into western North Carolina, on the other side of the mountains, that's like going back in time 75 years. It's like the water over there started talking funky to each other, and the rain tastes different now. I mean, it's just it feels the air is different, the vibe is different. Okay. And there's a lot of weird spirits on the east side too, but on the west side of North Carolina.
We have that's incredible. I find that very interesting, and I've experienced that myself. We have a town out here called Ben Lomond. It's chiefly known, like famous for Bigfoot sightings. But if you go into it's just like the town just stopped in time. Yeah. It has a few modern conveniences here and there, but basically it's an old logging town that has a really weird past. And it's the same vibe. Everything just feels and
Yeah,
tastes different, as you say. So
yeah, it's funky,
Yeah.
man. And we've ran into Luke got me hip on this Cherokee spirit named Spearfinger, and our first movie called The Hike was about Spearfinger.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Who are those guys? Oh gosh, the Monster Hunters. They're out of Virginia, I think.
yeah, we went there first with our show, and then they went down. What was crazy?
Okay.
We were hip on that, and it's a thing that nobody talks about.
Oops.
And even the Cherokee don't want to really talk about it. We went over there and tried to talk to them, and they were kind of like standoffish because we kind of thought it was going to be like a boogeyman story.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Spearfinger, but it's kind of tied to the religion. It's kind of how they kind of explain some things, and even though it may not be true, it may be true. I don't know. I don't think it's true, but it may be true. They're guarded about it. But we went over there and did an investigation looking for Spearfinger because there was a lot of deaths by tree fallings and impalements and rock slides, and there was like 20-something deaths in about a 16-month period in the Great Smoky Mountains. And that was the MO of Spearfinger. Spearfinger is a rock golem that shapeshifter. She can look like your grandma. She can look like a child. She can look like this girl you want to bang.
Does she call out? Is she the one that calls out?
Yes, and that happened on our investigation too.
Okay.
So she can look like a girl you want to do, and the whole point is she wants to get you off the trail and stab you with her long obsidian finger and eat your liver because she's a freak. The girl's a super freak. Rick James wrote about her. But we went down to this town called Bryson City. Great little town, and there's a road there called the Road to Nowhere. If you haven't seen it, you need to go. It's really a cool.
I'll check it out. That sounds
cool
good.
place. And we went down there to check her out about 2 a.m. And the locals said if you see orange lights, that's spirits trying to warn you that Spearfinger's around. Well, this place is remote. I'm not saying, hey, it's out in the middle of nowhere, like 5 miles away. There's a downtown. It's not like that. It's Western North Carolina. So we're miles and miles and miles away, and we're on the trail, Norton Creek Trail, and we see all these orange lights, and we capture them on camera. And we're like, yeah, I mean, they're like zipping around. And when we walk down this trail, we hear nothing but screams, yells, taunts, and it's conflated with the sound of water. So you're kind of like, am I listening to water?
Oh.
Or is it people?
Yeah.
Or spirits. And it's confusing because you're
Yeah.
like, man, it sounds like water. We keep walking, and on camera we capture a rock flying by my daughter's head, and it smacks against a tree.
Okay.
The rock, Luke is an amateur gemologist. He says the rock is not indigenous to that area. It almost killed my daughter. It came in there like freaking Nolan Ryan threw it. And
okay.
And we're sitting there looking at it, and then behind us we hear Luke, who's in the chat right now, him say, "Hey guys," and Luke was standing 20 feet in front of me, and I was in the back.
Right.
And Spearfinger is known as a mimic.
Yeah.
So
heard of that.
Yeah, so we walk all the way down. We get to a beaver dam. We start walking across the beaver dam, across the thing. It's 2 a.m. We're like, if we fall in here, this is going to be wet, sucky. Let's just call it a night. We start to turn around. At that point, all these monarch butterflies land on my daughter's legs in the middle of the night. They're not
nocturnal. Yeah.
No. If I was intelligent, there's a word for things that aren't nocturnal, like, so you don't have to say a double negative, but whatever they are.
Yeah,
they fly and they land on their legs, and we're sitting there. And people who are wise with druid stuff, witch stuff, native stuff, they are like, oh, that means this, and it's like a cleansing thing, is what they said.
It's a protective thing, yeah.
As soon as we turned around to walk back, we didn't hear one voice, one scream, one shout from the water, and it felt like the tension was cut with a knife. Whatever we did, we were let go, or we were let off the hook. And when we walked back, there wasn't Spearfinger, there wasn't the boogeyman, there wasn't,
Okay.
And so we decided in the first movie, The Hike, because that was a pretty substantial experience, we decided to make a movie about Spearfinger in that part of the woods. And that's when we decided, hey, there's all these legends and stuff. Let's start making these movies about all these little pockets and these like neighborhood bad guys and legends
Right
and
on.
Foo Fighters, you know.
I dig it. Oh, the Foo Fighters. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's another one. That's great. Oh, dude, that's a great story. I love it.
Yeah.
And you made it into a movie, so I guess I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, all of it. You can go to our website, Big and Funky Productions, and every movie we're either we've created or we're associated with goes to on the splash page. You can kind of scroll at the bottom and you can go see every movie. The Hike is on Tubi. Our second movie, WJHC AM, is on Amazon Prime. Camp Smokey is on Fossum, and then we're releasing our fourth movie. We're editing it right now, so that's going to be our best movie by far. But it's about to come out this year.
Right on. And yeah, you're editing. We were talking off camera about editing and all that fun. And I sympathize. I'm in the middle of an edit myself for my thing for TOL. And TOL follows. It's similar. It's not exactly the same as your thing, but we do kind of lock on to certain legends and then tear them apart, rebuild them a little bit, that type of thing, just to make it a little more entertaining. But
yeah, the cool thing about what we did, and again, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but nobody talked about Spearfinger. So in the movie, we have a native girl who's one of our best friends and just a dynamite looking chick, but she's also awesome. She portrays Spearfinger in the film.
Okay.
And after that, now when you go and do an image search for Spearfinger, there's a lot of images based off her image in the movie. And before, when we were doing the movie, there was nothing. Like sketches, like it looked like a slow 8-year-old with the left hand and a crayon kind of like drew like that's what I think it looks like. But now there's artwork and now there's girls dressing up looking sexy as Spearfinger and stuff like that.
Sexy Spearfinger.
Yeah.
I dig it. That's awesome.
That'd be the way to go.
I did something similar with this project we're putting together. Is we deal with witches, and they're good witches, but I dressed them up. I made them look extra appealing. They're beautiful girls anyway, but up to that, kick that up a notch. But okay, so when you were doing the investigation, okay, first off, the hike, the story, the actual happening, was that for an investigation, or was that for the show, or was this on your own?
Well, that we were doing our show then,
okay.
And so Luke kept going, we need to make a movie, and I was like, since I'm the editor of the movie, of all the movie, I'm like, and of the TV shows, I don't want to do that. It's horrible. But when COVID happened, we had a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And we got word from the industry that they halted all production. And so we jumped on it during COVID. We made this movie in the woods, ultra low budget, but a lot of funny stuff and some good stuff in it. And we really had a blast. It was probably one of the most fun times of my life. But it worked because we got an in. They were so desperate for entertainment that streaming services took our stuff from the distributor because they were like, they just needed something on TV. And ever since then, that's been our highest grossing movie. Probably not our best movie, but the one that most people have seen. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something fun, go see his stuff. And you told us where to get that. That's cool. I need to figure out our banners because they're like loaded with stuff, and it's saying I can't put another one up, but I don't know.
Aww.
I'll try and put one up though to your site. Let's talk about when did you first experience and or know that you wanted to pursue the paranormal?
I experienced it years ago. Me getting into it again, going back to the wrestling stuff. Luke and I were pro wrestlers, and we became friends because he's a complete idiot. And the first night he saw me, I had a 3-foot afro on with Christmas lights that a drag queen lent me, and he was like, "That's my best friend." And he kind of was trying to be my friend for a few months. I thought he was a weirdo. I was like, "Yeah, quit smelling my gym shorts, pal. Get away from me." But we eventually became really good friends, and we got booked in a program together at one of the promotions. And so we started cutting these comedic vignettes towards each other. And so we became friends, and we started doing a professional wrestling television show for Fox. We were producing it.
Nice.
And after 6 months together, we got fired. And that situation pissed off a lot of people locally.
Yeah.
Because everybody's kind of butthurt about, stuff. And me and Luke couldn't get anything. We had a podcast at the time that had 26,000 listeners regularly. We ended that TV show. And so we were kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And it just kind of plopped in our lap that there was this so-called producer wanting to do ghost stories in Gatlinburg area. Okay. And he got hip with Travis and Luke and myself, and then we started going out, and then we ditched that guy later because he was a pariah, and then we just kept it going on our own. But my original story is pretty long, but it's interesting. I was a drug and alcohol counselor for a bunch of adolescents at an adolescent facility in the middle of nowhere. And I'll abbreviate this story. I don't know how much time we have. Is it a half hour or an hour show?
This is a 2-hour show, so go for it.
Oh, 2-hour show. I better get another soda pop. It's okay. Yeah, I won't abbreviate it so badly. I remember, and I'm an enemy of brevity anyway. I remember
back in my
I remember driving to work, and like I said, this is out in the middle of nowhere, and I was looking up the full moon, and I was listening to Coast to Coast AM, like we mentioned before the show came.
Of course, I love that show.
And this was George Norrie doing it. And, of course, Art Bell was the king, but George Norrie wasn't too bad either.
Yeah, he did okay.
And I was like, I wonder why at a place like this adolescent facility where there's kids in there for drug addiction, they have an axis one of chemical dependency. But a lot of kids who are doing drugs and put in places like that, it's really because their family sucks and they're in really bad situations. And it was a co-ed. So the girls, there were 4 girls and 18 boys at all times. So it was all about 18 dudes trying to get with 4 girls. So that was basically the job, as I was a goalie. And so I was always thinking, man, I wonder why there's not a lot of weird spiritual vibe down there. And I swear to God, that night when I went down there, and that's when all hell broke loose. And this is a whole lot of weird paranormal stuff started to happen in that place.
Really?
And what happened? I went in, and I had the facility was a shotgun. You basically had classrooms on one end, kind of a round hub where there was a gym and a classroom and the nurse's station and kind of the greeting area and stuff.
Okay.
And then you kind of had like the other was the residential.
Okay.
And so you would stay down the residential trying to keep 18 boys from having sex with 4 girls. That's
right.
The main job. So at about midnight, this freaking moth starts flying all over me. A giant moth. It's almost like a small bat. Oh. And I was like, for the love of God. And I hate flying things, flying at your face.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I started swatting that thing and going crazy. And I was walking around, and this kid sat up in bed and he looked at me, and his eyes were completely white. And he goes, "Buy me a PA today, JR." And he falls back asleep. Now that day, I was in a band back then, a band called Pimpin' Ain't Easy. 3 white guys playing hip hop music and being all sorts of rowdiness in bars and clubs.
Go ahead.
My guitar player was named J.R. Horn, and he bought a PA that day for the band because we were having to rent one, and he went in his own pocket and he got a PA system. So that kid sat up and said that to me.
Okay.
And I did that slow motion like,
right,
I was like, what the hell? So I also heard a man's voice in one of the girls' rooms. I ran in there.
Sorry, I lost like everything you just said. I'm sorry. Please continue.
And it's the sauciest part of the story. There was a man's voice that came out of one of the girls' rooms. A man, not a kid, not a boy.
Wow.
And I ran in there and I was like, what's going on? You know, I was trying to find this dude. I was like, who the hell is that? Came through the window or something. Couldn't find anybody. Then a girl started grinding her teeth loudly, like you could hear it all the way down the hall. And I was like, man, something's really funky spiritually is happening in this place.
For sure.
After my 2-hour shift, I go to my office to do some paperwork. I open the door, And my whole office is jacked up feng shui wise. There's like somebody had been in there and they jacked up the whole place. And I was like, what the hell? And I said, I don't want to deal with this. I'll just do my paperwork somewhere else. I don't want to sit in a dirty office. I start to shut the door, and down, I'm about 6 foot tall. Down the spine of my back, right in the middle of the back, I hear this, hey, hey. And I thought it was a lady friend that I worked with named April. And I turned around and nobody was there. And I was like, but it was one of those things too. It wasn't just a voice. It was almost kind of like a vibe, like I could feel it. You know, I kind of felt this jive, like, hey, like it was this thing. And I was like, I called up to the girl that was in the center of the hub. I said, hey, Jamie, where's April? She says, April's all the way in the kitchen, you know, which is on the other side of the shotgun. Okay. And I was like, and there was the only 3 adults. And I said, you won't believe this, but I just heard right down the small behind my back, I heard this little voice go, hey, hey. And the lady's blood drained from her face. And she said, earlier today, I was sitting here and something came up to me and it let out 2 short breaths, like, and then my blood drained because I lied. It didn't say, hey, hey. I just said it said, hey, hey, because it's easier to articulate. Okay. Onomatopoeia-wise. Yeah. And I'm down the hall. But what it really did was it let out 2 short breaths. So she verified, like if she was just bullshitting me, or sorry, she could have just said, hey, the thing said, hey, hey, too. But she said like that as well. So then we were like, what in the world? Now, this is the craziest part of the story. Okay. We go outside and she's smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, man, this is some funky stuff happening tonight. Right. And then there was this place, and some of these places do this. They have like animals and stuff for the kids to kind of do like equine therapy, and they'll screw around with camels and emu and stuff like that. Right. The barn was going crazy. All the little animals in that place were going buck wild. And we're talking 3, 4 in the morning. Okay. And over these rolling hills in Tennessee, you heard a man chanting in a different language. And I would do it I would replicate it, but I'm afraid I would conjure up a demon or I'm just kidding. I don't, but somebody's driving in New Orleans right now. Right. You don't need that happening. I don't want him to hear this guy going, but anyway, it was something like that. Yeah. And we're like, what in the world is that? You know, I mean, what is this? It's like the movie Witch, Roger Eggers movie. So anyway, after that, it got worse and worse at that facility, and the behavior of the children got worse. Nurses started making out with the boys. There was a lot of sexual tension going on with everybody. They were trying to rip the holes in the walls so they could have sex through the walls. It was a crazy, and then at the end, and then people were starting to feel like I saw a pin, like a pin like this. I was sitting there. It shoots up 1/2 foot and points the other way. People, we used to have PRNs. Like if a staff member called in sick, they would hire a PRN. They would come in, go to the bathroom, throw the keys at us, and I'm leaving this place, and take off at the middle of the night. And we're like, what did you see? And they're like, screw you. I'm never coming back here. And we're like, what? We would hear bangs on the wall. There's nobody. We would hear Hey Hey's breath. Then people started seeing Hey Hey. Then they would see a bigger thing that comes with it, like a darker entity. Okay. People were like there was stuff being knocked over. People were feeling intoxicated. They felt like things were impressing them, and they saw smoke shooting out a register of the vent and going into another one. And so at that point, and I don't know, this is 2026, but I'm a Christian. I don't know, a lot of people don't like saying that these days, even though I'm not too hip on a lot of stuff going on in God's name right now. But I was like, something has to be done, because I told a friend of mine, I was like, man, isn't that crazy? And they were like, well, dude, if there is something evil in that building, you kind of probably brought it in, and it seems like it's affecting people in a weird way. I mean, the milieu of the place was totally different. like my boss, who was like the supervisor of the whole facility, like I walked in one day, like in her office, and she was just weeping. When your boss is going, it's just, she's got like crocodile tears and snot running down her face. And you're like, is everything okay? And she goes, I just don't know what we're going to do with this place. And I'm just like, gee whiz, man.
Wow. So
at that point, Malachi Martin, who was the Chicago priest, had some tips on how to bind those things. Mm-hmm. And I decided I'm going to go rock and roll with these dudes. We're going to have a disco that night. So when I get out of the car and we're going to have a confrontation, I see in my office, I can't hardly describe it, but it's like an outline of a man. Do you know who Keith Haring is? He's the artist that kind of made these almost stick figure things. Anyway, it looks like it looks like an outline of a guy, and above it on the window, I'm outside in the parking lot looking at my office window, and I see like all these like stars and stuff coming down, and this like outline of a guy. Okay. And I'm like, what is happening? I went in there to see if somebody put up a weird thing of art. There was nothing against the wall. I kind of did the thing with the, hey, we're going to stop this, and you can't be in here anymore. And after that, things, I'm not going to say completely stopped, but the weird funk got cut out. Everybody kind of, the staff quit making out with the children, and the children quit trying to, all the evil, weird stuff stopped. Okay. And occasionally there would be something like, did you hear that? But it wasn't like things being thrown across the room. And so that was like my first heavyweight fight with the spirits. And there have been times, and Luke can attest to this, I'm a pro wrestler named Funkmaster V. We'll be talking to spirits, or we'll be talking at, how ghost hunters are. We're talking at a wall. If something's there, we're lucky. So I'm talking at a wall, and all of a sudden we hear the word Funkmaster, like, oh, hey, Funkmaster. That's a word that you can't mess up, right? Like a lot of times somebody will have a dumb gadget on a ghost hunt, and it's like the thing will be like, and somebody said, it said it's going to kill us, and it's like, did it really say that? I mean, I know we're all in here and we got the goosebumps, but it didn't really say that. But when something goes, hey, Funkmaster, or it's the old preacher, or I know him, I know his daughter, and they would name my daughter. Oh, okay. Damn. And and stuff like that. And Luke can attest, if he's still in here, he can attest that stuff's happened. So it's kind of like, because of that day, I've kind of, those things don't like me too much anymore for some reason. That's good. Rather have not like it than like you, I don't want to go to their parties. Exactly right. Exactly right. The Atari Network just joined us. I don't know if that's someone in your group or not, but I know that guy. I have a podcast with that knucklehead. He's from Toledo. He's got a job down at the poop factory, and he's probably got off a 16-hour shift. Okay, good time. Go take a shower. Gotcha. You know Toledo. Everybody works at the poop factory in Toledo. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Driller Joe also joined us. Welcome, Driller. And he says he was a little late to the thing. Yeah. But that's okay. You missed quite a bit, but fortunately it's being recorded and you can listen to it again. That's right. It'll be better the second time. It's kind of like spaghetti the next day. And I encourage we have a lot of viewers, and I want to say welcome to our viewers. We have a lot of them compared to usual. So thanks for bringing the traffic, man. That's awesome. Man, they believe in the funk. That's Baltimore bad, baby. Represent. Cool stuff. So much fun. So when you were, so that was your first major paranormal experience. Was this before or after wrestling? Before. I was in my 20s at that point, yeah. Okay, gotcha. I'm old as damn it now, but back then I was a hot young little thing. Yeah, it happens. I hear you. Yeah, all my hair went away. Mine's going, babe. I used to have this luscious afro, and all the little ladies would come up and be like, "Ooh, can I touch your ringlets?" And now it's like I'm struggling to keep it together. Yeah, man. Feel your pain. Yeah. So you have this experience, and then you go into pro wrestling, and then from pro wrestling you go into TV shows dealing with the paranormal. Did I get that correct? Yeah. So far so good. Okay,
Then from that point forward, you go into filmmaking, and that's kind of where I want to really kind of. Funk also has another Spearfinger experience in Proctor, North Carolina last year. Oh, Luke's throwing you under the bus to tell more stories.
Yeah, well, that's a great story too, man. I mean, that's wild. I mean, we've taken the year off to kind of focus on this movie from ghost hunting, which sucks because I just gotta say, man, I know this is going to be schmaltzy, but I love my group in Big and Funky. They were my favorite people. It's Big Luke and Candy and Travis, El Gordo Gringo, and then Amber, and then everybody else that's associated with making our movies and stuff. They're just the coolest. They're artists, they're musicians, they're fighters, they're wrestlers, they're good people, good parents, they're entertainers. They're just great people, and we've had this crazy experiences together and ups and downs and failures. And last year we were almost killed in Proctor. So yeah, and we were dealing with Spearfinger there, and we almost legitimately died. But we got to steal a kid's pizza at the end of it, and then everything was okay.
But that's not the story.
Oh, that's not the story. Well, if you want to talk about that, my brother is a lot different than I am. He's a hiker, and one of the best stories I've ever heard was about him almost getting killed by bears right where Spearfinger lives. And it's a great story, and there's a paranormal element too, because every night somebody was trying to warn him in his tent to get out. And what my brother didn't realize is that they were baiting for bear. Now, I don't know who knows what that means, but apparently they were putting tuna cans on strings and hanging them from trees. And my brother's a dumbass. He doesn't know. And so, but they
just smell like fish around here.
Yeah. They were trying to get bear, and my brother ran into about 3 different bears and lived to tell the tale. And one of them grabbed his shoes, and he had to chase the bear through the woods to get his shoes. Anyway, and there's video of this. So,
oh my God, there's video evidence.
Yeah. So anyway, we conflated part of that story for our first movie. But getting to what Luke's talking about. My brother walked through this town called Proctor. Now, Proctor, North Carolina, is the most remote city on the eastern seaboard. Okay. Out where you are, there's tons of remote cities. But out where we are, to be this isolated is pretty unique because there's always a town somewhere close to whatever. Okay. But Proctor doesn't have a road to it anymore. It doesn't have a train trestle. You have to hike 20 miles on a trail to it, or you charter a boat, and then you have to hike about a mile. Now, it's a ghost town. It's not operational anymore. They flooded it. But
they flooded it?
Yeah, they flooded it. They flooded it to build a dam.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
That annoyed a lot of spirits and people, and it's inconvenienced a lot of stuff. So we decided to go to Proctor to check it out and to do a ghost hunt to see if Spearfinger was there and see whatever was there. We've heard there's little people in that particular area, live
like Puckwudgie. You're not too far from that area.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. There's always rumors of like hidden civilizations and things like that, and it's part of the And so we're like, well, let's go out there and have a knife fight with the paranormal. And now here's the thing: Luke's from Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm from Baltimore. My wife's from Atlanta. Candy's a beach bum. Travis is from Florida. Amber is from all over the place. She's lived in Germany and all over the place. None of us are these outdoorsy types.
Okay.
We're all city slickers. So hiking is bad. I know a lot of people do it for recreation. I think that's what you should do to prisoners. And then camping all night outside. Okay. And so some of us didn't get any sleep that night, and we had an investigation. There was some cool stuff that happened. Probably what he's talking about is we found, so it's a city that's been decimated by water, and there are ruins up in the hills. And we found some strange, remnants of what we think are like quarters where the workers, because it was a logging community, it's like where the loggers, and so we saw all these wire bed frames and some chimneys and remnants of that kind of stuff. But we walked up off the trail and we're like checking it out. What's going on up here? What is all this stuff? And the problem was the sun was setting. The other problem is we're all city slickers. The other problem is the light dissipated and none of us brought really our good flashlights. So we were like, holy crap, we are off the trail and it's getting dark. And while we're sitting there, before we realize this, we're doing like a segment for the for Wrestling with Ghosts, our TV show. And I hear Luke's voice go, "Hey, Vinnie." And I look and I'm like, "Hey, where are you?" And we kind of stop. And that's when when we're out of the production moment, we're kind of like, it's getting dark. We need to get out of here. And I had Luke's son with me and he's, a kid. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill Luke's son up here if we can't get out of here. So the good thing is I have lived in Tennessee a long time. And I do know you always walk towards water first thing and you walk downhill. So we were able to get off the hill like a bunch of stupid Yankees. And we got on the trail. And when we reconvened with Luke, he was far away with the other girls in the group. I don't know what he was doing. My wife was in that group. Luke, we need to talk about what you were doing. But we were talking, and I was like, hey, man, what did you want? And he said, what are you talking about? I was like, you just yelled, hey, Vinnie. He goes, I haven't yelled, hey, Vinnie. And he's like rubbing his feet, and he looks perturbed at something. And I'm like, huh. We played it back clear as day. And again, that goes back to Spearfinger used his voice before.
Right.
Luke is called Big Luke. He's 6'8", and he used to be taller than that before he got, older. And he's got a big booming voice. So he's hard to replicate, it's like, he sounds like a subwoofer as a human. So that was cool. And we had some, we did an investigation in a place called the Calhoun House, and we went to the cemetery, and one of our girls brings one of those goofy little things, and it's like butt cheeks, and you're like, why did you butt cheek? You're talking to it like it. Right. So, but we had a good time. But at the end, we leave, we go to Bryson City, we have a pizza, we steal a kid's pizza, they left it, and then we got caught, so we had to explain that. We go home. Less than 5 hours, about 10 hours later, Hurricane Helene hits Proctor. Now, if you don't know what that is, you're on the West Coast. There was a hurricane in 2024 that hit North Carolina in the mountains and Tennessee, a hurricane. Yeah. And it wreaked insane damage. I'm less than 20 minutes away from a dam that burst, and I'm in Tennessee now. Yeah. But North Carolina was even worse. There was a pretty major city nobody could get to. Interstate 40, which goes all the way out to you guys in California, was ripped in half in between Tennessee and North Carolina.
Was this, which hurricane was this again?
Hurricane Helene.
Helene, yeah, that's the one that was all over the news. Yeah.
It was a biblical hurricane. There's parts up. There's parts of that of North Carolina where they said that it hasn't experienced weather like that for 2,000 years. That it had it was insane stuff. Wow. But how that goes back to us and our stupid, dumb A's. I can't cuss on the radio, but our whatever. Ass is okay. Okay. Our stupid asses is if we were out there. Here's the thing: there's not an attendant in Proctor. There's not like a little group. There's not like a place where you go buy tickets to go hike to Proctor. We got dropped off by a boat. It was like the boatman from Hades. He just dropped us off. I'll see you later, and he's out of there. He's flirting with girls.
Welcome to the other side of the river, Styx. Good luck.
Yeah, he don't give a damn. So we're out there, and it's like in a couple of we're getting up there in age. Some of us are in our 50s. We got a couple people that are probably over 200 pounds in a group. Yeah. We're not the hiking group. And so we're like, but the water level of, I think it was Lake Fontana. They said that raised 23 feet.
Oh my God. Dude.
That would have drowned us. There is a building, a one-story building that we might have been able to sit on, but nobody was coming to get us. There's no trucks, there's no helicopters, but we missed that by hours. And
crazy.
The reason is I had another television production for I do a show called Weird Roads, and we had to be in Kentucky the next day, so that's why I backed it up a day. And if it wasn't for that guy, the producer from Detroit flew down to do this TV show. If I didn't do that, Big and Funky might just be big or funky, but not both. I mean, we don't know what
Gotcha. Wow. That's incredible. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Just amazing. A big shout out to Sherry, who joined us. Welcome. I know you're late, and I'm glad. I hope all the animals are enjoying the show too. She works at an animal shelter.
Nice.
So, hey, Sherry. And okay, so Luke, thanks for teeing that one up. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they were all like, when are we going back? Everybody was complaining about sleeping on rocks and stuff. And then they're like, the other thing is, too, is there probably was a bear in the camp that night as well. And that's another part of the story, too. But we thought it was Luke's son, Mikey, is snoring. But later investigation, probably was a bear. But we don't know.
Well, you're here.
Yeah, we made it.
You made it out. How did you make it out? I guess you had something arranged.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They come back and get you. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
It was flight. I mean, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if they would have been heroes or what, or if somebody would try to come look for us. But that's the crazy thing, man. That's the crazy thing.
Wow.
It's really remote, really remote. I get freaked out. A lot of people get freaked out when they go downtown. I'm from Baltimore. I love Baltimore. I don't think there's a problem. There's areas you definitely don't want to go into after a certain time.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way in the country. When I'm out in a remote area and there's not like a gas station or a place to get a cheeseburger within 2 minutes, I'm starting to go, what are we doing here? Why am I even here? Yeah.
Where are we? How do I get here? How do I get back?
Yeah.
I hear you, man. There were plans to do a Bigfoot investigation up in Ben Lomond, this town I told you about, earlier this year or earlier last year. It's 2026 already, and I got sick, so I couldn't do it. And apparently, it was a good thing. Similar to you, we had a mudslide. Just wiped out everywhere. The place I was going to go specifically, and just erased it from the face of the earth. The Highway 9 was blocked for a while. It was good times. But, yeah, so we have a lot of parallels, man. It's kind of interesting.
Nature sucks. I don't care what they say.
Well, it sucks, and it also kind of saves your life at the same time. It's kind of weird. It's fickle. Fickle is the word that comes to mind.
It cares not for anyone.
Exactly.
It's not a respecter of man, for sure.
No, it is not. But, and you know what? We're coming up on our 1 hour thing, so let's do the break now. We'll do a quick station identification, a couple of commercials, and then we'll come back and we'll speak a little more with Vinnie Vineyard. We'll be back right after hey, if I could get to the right thing. Oh, it's good times. Good times. And here we go. So sorry about that. Here we go. This is the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 in the Gulf Coast. UPRN talkradio.com. Esoteric programming at its finest.
Long ago in the ancient world, the Tribus Omnis Lux, later known as the Tridents, were celebrated heroes, defenders of humanity against unspeakable monsters. Today, they continue that sacred duty in secret, hunting the dark evils that lurk just beyond the shadows. They are the Trident of Light.
Follow us on Instagram at paranormal.insight. Stay informed on upcoming shows, ask questions, and see what chilling paranormal stories we're following. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube at paranormal_insight. Click the live tab to see our latest videos. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with Vinnie, Funkmaster V, Vineyard, and we're talking about our paranormal experiences. Atari made an interesting comment. Oh, fancy. I don't know what that refers to.
No, you probably have commercials. I mean, our podcast, we're not up to that yet. He's got
okay.
Sponsors now. I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay. I
He's
didn't know what that meant.
He's from Toledo. He's all talking about Jamie Farr and that show MASH and Peanuts. I don't know what he's talking about.
I forgot about Klinger, man. That's awesome.
Pride of Toledo. I just can't. I can't imagine an entire city, and Toledo's a pretty good sized town. The entire city is personality is based on a minor character of a show from 50 years ago. But I got you.
My grandmother's from Ohio, actually. She's a little town. Starts with an L, I think.
We've done quite a few up there. We did a hey, how you doing there? I got the Fembots here. I'm on the mothership. I got a lot of funk inspired robots that hand me drinks and give me kisses.
Good times.
Yeah. But we did an investigation up there in Bowling Green near Toledo at a place called Vollmer's Park, which was an amusement park. So we got to investigate a dilapidated, falling apart amusement park, which was a really cool experience. That was a lot of fun too.
Right on. Oh, he explained himself. I'll put it up in the comments.
Yeah, I know him. I know where we're becoming symbiotic. Me and him. He's a good guy.
Right on.
A couple of my favorite people in the chat.
Right on. Immediately he impressed. He says, "Okay, it's okay."
He's from Toledo, man. They come out. You know, they have one chair in Toledo, and if you miss your turn to sit on the chair, too bad.
You're done. So, what is the Grave Island? The thing you were just telling me about?
Well, Luke's telling you this, Jive, because that's probably the most badass thing he's ever done. So we're up there dealing with Vollmer's Park, which was the abandoned amusement park. And the reason we went up there, a couple reasons. We have a musician named Fish Fisher. He owns that amusement park.
No kidding.
And there's nothing there now. This was a few years ago, and since then everything has went to nature. Talking about nature is not a respecter of man. All these buildings have gone to crap. But we went up there. He's a good friend of ours. We do shoot music videos for him and stuff like that, and we know his talents that he manages, and he's a good guitar player. But he's a buddy. We went up there to investigate, mainly for the reason. Because we wanted to prove at the time, this was about 7 or 8 years ago. At the time, everything was very macabre with paranormal investigation. And for television, they always wanted to make it like demons and boogeymen.
Oh, sure.
And it's like, dude, it's just, listen, it's grandma died, or it's an angel, or it's energy, or it's a time traveler, or it's a creature we don't even know, or it's something we can't perceive. It's not evil incarnate everywhere you go. There could be some nasty stuff, but a lot of times, it's great grandpa looking for a Diet Coke in the fridge or something. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Right. So we wanted to go and prove, because even though it's wrestling with ghosts and we did a lot of comedy and we're wrestlers, Luke's a really smart guy, and the rest of the gang's pretty smart. He and I came up with the idea that we wanted to go and prove that if there are people, or if this is energy, that paranormal energy can exist in places where people had fun. And people may go back to a place they loved or had the best times of their life to live in the afterlife, or if they can't find the light, or if it's residual energy, the residual energy of something very positive that happened, Yeah. And so we wanted to go back to that location and see, and we had a good time, and we captured some really cool stuff. And he's 7 feet tall, like I said, and he wears Crocs. He stepped on about 6 rusty nails because he's a moron. But after all that, there was an island across the river, and I can't remember the river, but it's up there in Bowling Green, and it was called Grave Island, and there was a lot of people that died on this island, and there was a lot of crashes, it's a pretty fast, swift moving river, and there was a lot of boat crashes and stuff, and I can't remember, Luke, there's another reason there was a lot of bones supposedly on that island. And I said, I bet you $20 you can't go find a bone on that island. And he gets in and in a kayak, and he goes across the water. And for a little while, I'm like, I hope my friend doesn't drown, because I'm not a good swimmer. And he's 7 feet tall. I don't know how you. Okay, it was a body dump. I knew there was something. This was a body dump for 1812.
The 1812. Wow.
Yeah. So it was a terrible year.
Wow.
Good year for port, but a bad year for war. But anyway, he goes across in a kayak with his cyst showing that men get on their asses sometimes. And he goes over there and he's fooling around for like 2 or 3 seconds, and he finds a clavicle and brings it back in his teeth like a warrior, like Platoon. But yeah, took a couple sawbucks off of me, but yeah, that was pretty. Me and Travis were so excited when he went there and made it back, because he's a big tough guy, but he's also clumsy as hell too. And we were just like, man, I hope he doesn't take a dip in the river up there and drown. Yeah. Me and Travis weren't going to be able to save him.
Yeah, I hear you. You said clavicle, and you totally reminded me of a case we had where we were doing a Bigfoot hunt in a pretty well-known space, actually, populated space too. It's called Sanborn Park out here. It's near the Saratoga Hills, which collide with the Santa Cruz Mountains to a degree. And so we're out there, and they're holding. I mean, it's a big nature preserve, but there's a proper park area with cut grass and stuff like that, and it's pretty huge. And at one end, there's this little sunken theater space, and it was an experience there that led to the hunt further up the mountain, rather. And the experience was there was a Shakespeare troupe. And I probably told this story on the show, but I'll tell it again. Why not? There's a Shakespeare troupe. They're doing their 3rd, 4th year there. Shakespeare in the Park kind of a deal at night. So they have lights set up and yada, yada, yada. They're doing their show. And this horrible, horrible stink, like skunk mixed with garbage, mixed with fish, decaying fish, just hits everybody. And it even pauses the play. It's like, no one can breathe. It's pungent. It's overwhelming.
Well, have you ever smelled the togas and cloaks from the actors that do Shakespeare in the Park?
Yeah, you're not far off, but this was worse. I know, because I was in that audience. Well, so we're all trying to get used to it. The actors play on much to their credit, and it finally abates a little bit. But a few of the patrons in the audience are going, God, do you know that thing about Bigfoot smelling really bad? So it starts a little trickle through the audience, and then they kind of forget about it because the smell eventually goes away. But it prompted, it's like, oh, we should check it out and see if there's any Bigfoot stuff up there. So we go back. I go back with my scary team, and we search the hills. And I find this deer shoulder blade, and it's got predation marks on it from birds and cats, wild cats, and maybe coyotes. But there's also these weird striations on it from what looked to be like human teeth, except they're huge. It's a huge bite, and it's like it was cleaning the bone, like you do with ribs. You kind of clean the bone.
Oh yeah,
they were doing that with this thing apparently. And I was teaching part time at local college, and we have a animal veterinary, school there. And so I bring it to the professors there, and I said, look at this and explain those marks. Go. And they said, yeah, sure, give me a day. Okay, done. Give them a day, go back next day. Okay, this is from birds, this is from coyotes, this is from something else. I said, yeah, but what about the ones I asked about? I said, they look like primate teeth, like ours, right? Yeah. But the size is different, isn't it? It's like bigger. Yeah. I said, what is that? We don't know. There's nothing in the fossil record that matches that. It's like, okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What would have made that better is if you found the clavicle or the shoulder next to a playbill for Othello. That would have been great. Like, aha! He was there.
He was there, right?
Yeah. That's pretty
Stole
good,
a T-shirt.
Yeah. Shakespeare in the Park, 1998.
Yeah, man.
I knew it. That's pretty wild, man. I was up. I was in Yermo, California, a couple months ago, and then I did a thing for a TV show where I went up the extraterrestrial highway, which everybody's done that. But
oh, sure,
amazing topography and that, I don't know, getting out there in the desert and stuff. And I know you're not talking about that, but when you're an Easterner, and you go out west, it's just like, oh my God, the desert and everything. And California has everything, the mountains and snow and stuff. It's pretty wild out there.
We have it's a pretty eclectic landscape, the state. So you went down the alien highway. That's one thing I haven't done.
Pretty cool. I got I got a show on a network called ASY TV, and I got a TV show called Weird Roads with Vineyard. And we did, we do basically the stuff going down highways, Yermo to Vegas. I think it's I-95, I think.
Sounds about right.
And then I went the extraterrestrial highway, which the black box out there, which the producer of that show, he actually has put up a couple of the black boxes up there because people keep knocking them down. But it was cool because people will drive. And if you don't know what it is, it's on the extraterrestrial highway. If you don't know anything about the desert, I mean, you see for miles and miles. I was in a rented car going 130 miles an hour until the governor kicked on. And dude, it was just a blast to be driving out there going, just like a bat out of hell. Nice. But there's a black box out there that's a mailbox, and it belongs to a farmer. It's private property out there, but people thought it was a mailbox to, since it's near Area 51, it was a mailbox for aliens. So people put a lot of neat little tchotchkes and notes and cards, and I snagged the one that a kid, drew like a UFO, and it's like, hello, and a lot of notes because the milieu of the world has kind of gotten rotten in the last 10 years or so. And a lot of notes that were like, come kill us all, or come take me back and bring me back to your planet.
Okay.
A lot of stuff like that. But that was really neat. And then we went out to the gate where the Area 51 gate.
Did you? Did you go to that little visitor center that's right there?
Visitor center? Like
it's a quasi visit. It's not really a visitor center. It's so you go up to the gate, if it's the one I'm thinking of, because there is a main entrance out toward that side of things. And if you hit the main entrance, there's 0 guards there. At least there was when I heard about it. And then there's this little visitor center, kind of like a waiting room area or a check-in area.
I'm not familiar with that. I know that place is huge.
It's gigantic. Room Lake is huge.
I think somebody said the entire blocked off military zone is about the size of Rhode Island.
It's a little bigger than that. Yeah, Nellis is huge. Yeah.
And so the entrance that we are at is the one that's really close to the Ailey Inn, that little town that's like
you're in New Mexico, right?
No,
Arizona?
Nevada.
I thought the alien was in New Mexico.
Oh. Did I say Area 51?
You did.
Wait a minute. Yeah, it's Area 51, right? That's the one in Nevada.
That's right.
Okay. Roswell's New Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that's where the black box was too. New Mexico.
No, it's in Nevada. And then
Okay, that's my mistake.
that's all right. But like you got me thrown there because when I
Sorry.
first did it, I was like, I was confused with Roswell and Area 51 because I'm not an alien. I don't think about aliens that much unless my wife's watching one of these disaster movies where they kill us all. But this was like a military gate. There was no waiting room, and like we were trying to get the guy to hit the horn. If you annoy the guard enough, he'll hit the horn so you to back off. But we saw black vehicles, like off in the desert, off road, just sitting there, and it's pretty wild, man. You don't know really. It's creepy when you're out there because you don't know, are you going to run into somebody who's having a bad day or something weird going to happen? And then the roads aren't in great shape anyway. You can hit potholes that'll jack your car up. But it's a trip.
Yeah, it's intriguing stuff. I've had a few friends who've done interesting things near Nellis. That's the Air Force base out there. And I was in the Air Force RTC program, so I got a little bit into it, not full on like most folks do, but it's interesting because I still maintain contact with those who are active. And I heard all kinds of stories.
Yeah, I bet. We heard a sonic boom while we were out there too. So there were fun. Somebody was flying a jet around. So
right on. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm looking at Atari's comments here.
Yeah.
Feels like there should be guards. You'd think so, but apparently he drove up to this friend of mine drove up to this one gate. No one. No one. It's locked, and beyond that's this little /visitor center /check-in space. I don't know, but it's covered. It has an interior and all that fun stuff.
There are multiple gates, like the first gate,
there's tons.
There's like the first gate is just for people like me, who's a jerk that just goes, and you do the TikTok thing where you're looking up at the cell phone and going, I'm here at Area 51, and you're not really, you're just at the gate.
Right.
And then there's like, if you go past that gate, then you're probably going to run into somebody going, all right, kid, get the hell out of here.
Right, exactly. Your buddy Atari's pretty funny. He has his moments. I'll give him
A little bit of him goes a long way.
Okay, did you ever have a UFO experience at all?
Yeah. Yeah, I had. This was weird too. I guess every UFO experience is strange, but I have a little bit of a following from the wrestling and the music and the stuff that I've done. I'm not very famous, and there's people now who have much more like followings on social media, but mine's like the old hard way, like 2,000 people that know who I am and kind of care about what I do. And so
Gotcha.
I lived in a town called Pigeon Forge, which is near Gatlinburg, which is part of that whole tourist area right there in the mountains of the Smoky Mountains.
Okay.
And I ran a business there, and I lived in my business. And this was right before COVID. And I'm walking out to the road to check the mail or something. It's at night. And where I am, normally there's mountains everywhere, but where my kind of business was, it was pretty open sky. And I see like a green, and I'm talking New York Jets from the 1980s green, screech across the sky that takes an elbow turn and goes completely 90 degrees.
Okay.
And I'm like, green streak going across the sky, dissipating or just keeping going. That's shooting star. Something that takes a freaking right elbow turn, that is something funky.
Yeah.
So because of my social media presence, I said, I just saw this. I put it on Facebook and the other junk that we all do. And I had people, and of course, this isn't going to mean anything to you, but I had people from miles in cities and over mountains away saying, I just saw that and I was here. I just saw that and I was in Maryville. I just saw that and I was at the bird sanctuary in Midway. I just saw that and I was in Gatlinburg. Okay. And it was like all these things. Like if we got in a car and wanted to hit where everybody said, dude, it would take us hours. So all these people saw this thing.
Yeah.
And then a guy from like the Tennessee UFO Center like contacted me.
Okay.
And he wanted my statement. and I was excited. I was like, man, maybe if I annoy the aliens enough, they'll come visit me or something. And, I'll get some press. And COVID happened, and then nobody gave a crap.
Nothing, right?
Grandma died, and we don't care about the green streak anymore.
Jeez, I know. Yeah. We had a similar thing out here. In fact, it became a national/international event. My partner in Scary, JJ, she was just having a smoke one day, and she sees this light in the sky, and it's kind of hourglass shaped. So there's light coming off two ends of whatever the heck this was, and it was kind of orangish. And she whips out her cell phone and she says, "What the heck is that?" And she films it for a bit, and then you see an airplane with proper lights and all that cruise through the space, and you realize this thing's way up there, but it's super bright and huge. So this thing's got to be at least, I don't know, miles, like at the edge of the atmosphere type of thing, versus a jet airplane. And she films it, and as she watches it hit the horizon, it shifts from this amber to this blue, and it goes zip, and just goes. And I mean, if the thing's as big as I estimated, which is pretty damn big, if I had to give it a size, I'd say at least a football field's big, whatever this, or a stadium, if not the whole stadium encompassing said football field, moved and boom, juked like that. And it turns out multiple people in California saw it, multiple people in Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, Mississippi, into Florida saw this phenomenon.
And all the way to Florida?
No, Florida.
That's
and then apparently there's some folks in Cuba and Mexico who saw this thing as well. So this thing must have been really big and really, really high for all those people in that stretch of, the north-south stretch of the curvature of the earth to see that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing.
I think they're slowly coming out and saying that they're real, and the society and the world and the political climate and everything. Everybody is so irritated with stuff that nobody even. It was like the news came out. Okay, aliens are real, and we were like, we know.
Yeah, we've been there.
It's like we know something's out there, and I don't know if they're aliens driving around in spaceships or if it's military stuff or whatever. But I mean, there's obvious UFOs. I mean, there's things that you can't identify, and for them to always come out and just be like, "I was a weather balloon. What is wrong with you?" To gaslight the population for so long.
Right. It was swamp gas from the planet Venus. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What?
You were high on methamphetamines.
Yeah, man. Some of the explanations really kind of do warrant that suspicion. What are you drinking when that happens? Well, it kind of goes to Alan Hynek, Dr. Hynek, from Project Blue Book, if you know who that is.
Yes.
And he was part of the investigation into, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the case now, in Kentucky, where that little family of ranchers
Fire in the
fought
Sky
off
movie.
aliens for like 12 hours or something like that. They were literally firing at these things, and
I haven't heard that. I need to check that out. I need to see that.
Drawing a blank on it.
Well, we need to make a movie about that.
Kecksburg. Is it Kecksburg? I think it's Kecksburg. No, Kecksburg something else. I'm sorry. That's not it. But, oh my goodness. Anyway, if anyone in the chat knows what case that is, it's really famous and I'm blanking on it. But anyway, so he's with Project Blue Book, and his partner, that captain from the Air Force, is there as well. And they kind of debunk it and they say, okay, this isn't what they saw. And then he goes back just after he's fired from Blue Book, or maybe a few years after. And he re-examines the case and he re-interviews everybody. And it's in his book that he wrote where he says, you know what? The more and more I look at this, the more and more I'm convinced they actually had an experience, because there was just so much that happened. Never mind, there was, all the spent ordnance all littering the floor. These guys were not just having a good old turkey shoot. No, they were defending their property, their little homestead from these terrorizing little frickin', they call it, the gremlin. It's something, the gremlin. Something, oh, I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry, everyone. But,
I'm terrible at party games. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's, Hopkinsville. That's it. Hopkinsville Gremlins is what they were called.
That needs to be the high school mascot.
Yeah, it should be. If it isn't already, it totally should be. But these little guys, they call them gremlins because they had these really big ear-looking things, and they were kind of wearing spacesuit type deals. Nothing we've seen here on Earth, but
that's crazy.
Basically, they wouldn't walk; they kind of float. Like standing up, like float up to these people, and they get a beat on, they shoot them, and they go tumbling right away like they're dead, and they get right back up again, and some said that they laughed. Some of the guys who were taking it, they laughed. It was like, this is fun, let's do it again. I was like, oh my goodness. No, Atari, not grays. These were different looking beings, man. They were wearing something akin to spacesuits, but they definitely had these ear-like protrusions, almost like goblins. That's why they call them the Hopkinsville Goblins. But yeah, it's amazing. So if a guy like Hynek can recant like that, come on. I mean, that guy's a die hard. I mean, deep in the wool skeptic for all those years, and then he comes back and re-examines his own work. So I think
there's things that are interesting. I mean, I should have been a social anthropologist. I think people are interesting, and people typically don't try to humiliate themselves.
Exactly.
So anybody that comes out, most of the population is too busy. They've got to worry about bills. They got taxes they haven't paid. Their wife may be cheating on them, whatever the case. They're not worried about coming up with that kind of stuff. There's a percentage of people that are mistaken. There's going to be a percentage of people who are liars and treasure hunting storytellers. But for the most part, when you get all these people, it doesn't fit their personality that a lot of them are like pranksters and doing stuff for attention. And so when you get a group of people together that saw something that nobody can explain,
right?
That's when you have to go, okay, that's where something probably, there's no agenda here. Like I had a ghost show. Well, there's an agenda for me to fake evidence. So you really can't say what I say. You can be entertained by us, but you never really know if we were like, hey, we spent all this money coming out here and nothing happened. Let's invent something. I mean, that could happen.
Yeah. It has happened. I mean,
oh yeah. Well, that's the one thing that me and Luke, when we were being courted by these ghost shows, we were like, we don't fake evidence. And they're like, well, you're going to have to. And we were like, right. What? And that's when we realized that everything we saw on all these, they've all been compromised.
Yes.
It's like we spent
all of them.
We spent 15 grand for you guys to drive out to Arizona, or 50,000 or 100. You're going to come back with something instead of going, nothing happened. Something happened because we paid for it.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters had that problem. Like the first year, in fact, they were kind of the template of having to make stuff visible for the audience. Because their first year, nothing. No discoveries. I think I heard something. But other than a couple of EVPs, and who knows if that was legit or not. Yeah. First year was nothing. Then from season 2 on, there was nothing but discoveries. Oh, look at this evidence. Oh, look at that evidence. So
that's why I kind of thought they were pretty cool in the beginning, because it wasn't like it was rigged. But yeah, you never know. But anyway, going back, you got to look at people who, if they say they see aliens, you have to collaborate. And there's so many things that have happened where it's like, this old redneck, uneducated dude who doesn't want to be on the news is sitting there going, I saw a man, but he wasn't a man. He don't want to be. I mean, he's not into that. He's not out there trying to be a TikTok superstar or whatever.
Exactly.
And he's just trying to find the truth, and he feels like something special happened to him and he wants to share it, you know.
Atari brought up Stardust Ranch, and we talked about that briefly last week on the other with my last guest.
Is that where it's, prostitution's legal in Nevada? Is that what that is?
Similar name. So I hear.
Oh, so you hear. All right.
So I hear.
Your brother told you.
Exactly right. No, the Stardust is interesting. There were these, apparently, the husband and wife who live on this ranch were constantly under some sort of barrage of abductions. Like, they constantly try and abduct the wife. They weren't paying attention to the husband. And so the husband kept waking up in the middle of all this, which I found really kind of suspicious and counter to most abduction stories. And he starts trying to fight him off, and he clips one of them, and when it goes down, and apparently these are grays, like Atari mentioned before, but they go down, and then they be like beamed up, for lack of a better term. But one night he's up late, and apparently he figured out the schedule. And so he actually went and got himself a samurai sword. So he's ready, you know. And sure enough, he locked it down. Yeah. Luke said something. Yeah. So he takes one down and he lops off its arm. And then he takes another one down and lops off its head. The one whose arm was lopped off was apparently beamed up, but the one whose head was lopped off was apparently left alone. However, when he bundled this thing up, he sticks it in his barn, he's going to notify the media, and when the media show up, he does the unveiling, the body's gone. So, I don't know. But he started taking Polaroids of his hits, you know? It's like, I promise it was there. It was there. And, yeah, it was just interesting. So Stardust has a really interesting story, but Zach Bagans' group went out there to investigate, and apparently they were shut down because they actually filmed a starship, apparently, hovering over the house. But all their footage was confiscated by government entities.
Oh, brother.
So, yeah. And then
I think the most interesting thing that's happened with Ghost Adventures is that poor guy's wife put out a hit on him. I mean, that's the craziest thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. And they had all kinds of spiritual stuff happen to them, too. So, I don't know.
I know an MMA fighter. His wife tried to hire a hitman, and all she could afford was $300 and a 2001 Chevy Cavalier. Now, when you value your own life, and you're like, my life is worth a 2001 Chevy Cavalier and $300. That you probably walk off into the woods for a little while and think about what you've done with your life.
Yeah. It's like, that's it? That's all I'm worth?
That's all you could muster to get me knocked off?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But luckily, she hired a cop instead of a real hitman.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Now she's in jail.
Good.
And he's got a Cavalier, I guess.
Yeah, got a Cavalier.
He got the Cavalier.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In the divorce.
And I want that car you bought to try and bump me off. Luke brings up the Jack Osborne show. He had a paranormal show, a couple of them actually.
What's crazy? He's talking about. Luke says when Jack Osborne kicked the wall and they left it in the show that it kind of ruined the paranormal TV. Luke will tell you that I don't know if this is interesting to anybody, but the problem with paranormal TV and why there hasn't been any new shows is there's 500,000 people that will watch paranormal TV no matter what it is.
Right.
They will watch The Haunted from 2001. You know that old show. It's like, sure. They will watch that. So why they watch that as much as they watch a brand new show? So why not just show the repeats of all these old paranormal shows instead of trying to invest in promoting new personalities and stuff? So they started trying to bring celebrities in, and that didn't really work. weirdly enough that he brings that up, I saw a video of Kelly Osbourne this morning. I haven't seen her in 20 years. She's like 80 pounds, and something is really weird going on with Kelly Osbourne. So,
how's that?
Yeah, she looks like an alien. She doesn't look like her. She used to kind of be like this little chubby, cute British
Yeah, she lost a lot of weight she was on that dance show for a bit.
Yeah, this video, she's with her kid, and the kid is acting really strange. I mean, they do look like alien people, like Men in Black, the movie kind of stuff. Like, they don't look real. They look like they're trying really hard to be people, but they can't quite figure it out. The uncanny valley is pricked my alert.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know I don't know you well enough to say that.
That bums me out that I couldn't remember, but let us proceed. Okay, so as an investigator, as someone who's had a show doing these investigations, what was the hardest thing? Okay, because I did a pilot for a show for my scary team too, and it was a process that even as a filmmaker, I didn't expect. I thought it'd be more like live action, just rolling with the punches, but I had to stop, break for establishing shot, doing all the close up, doing all this stuff. Yes. Oh my God, the amount of production that went into it stalled the investigation.
Oh yeah,
completely. Until we had this one hot moment, like around 3 a.m. And that lasted all of 15, 20 minutes, but at least there was that. But did you have those problems doing the show where you had to stop your investigation because camera B ran out of battery or whatever it was, or did you have more coverage than that?
We did it. I mean, we were independent, so we did it ourselves. So our shows probably don't look as polished as something that would be on like an A&E. It was even more low budget than that. So we are good with improv. We are good with, so we can kind of fill time. Moreover than anything, it had to be fun, and I didn't want to be out there. And there's the other illusion is this. There's no money in this stuff. Like even if you're on TV, you don't get paid a lot until you're like in season 3. Then if you're on season 3, then you're starting to get some checks. But until then, they're not paying you. So it's got to be, for us, it had to be fun. It had to be, I'll start falling asleep. Like if we're somewhere at midnight and somebody's got to change the camera and stuff like that, I ain't hanging around for that. Well, yeah. Well, now Luke's airing dirty laundry. But yes, I mean, the other thing, we did sign, and I'm not even exaggerating, 6 to 7 television contracts. We would talk with production companies. We would sign paperwork, and then they would take all of our ideas and give them to other shows. So that happened to us for years too. But
dude,
yeah, no. a lot of shows changed their personalities, and a lot of they started having comedy teams come out. They started doing some of the serious teams started doing comedy stuff that we were doing. Some of the experience that we came up with. So, okay, yeah, we just basically at that point were like, and then like even in the beginning, I mean, they started copying our investigations, which going to place A, it's not we didn't invent the story. They just other people were like, oh, this other group went down there, let's go down there. So I
see. So
but
you
want
to go.
Yeah. So it's like we were publicizing new places for people to go and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't have any sour grapes about it now. I'm happy with how I'm not bitter at all. I'm so excited with our lives and what happened and where we are now, making the movies about the investigations. To me, that's much more interesting.
Atari brings up my experience. Yes, it is counterintuitive to me, because I guess it's because we were working with a filmmaker too who was not a showrunner per se, didn't really understand the TV side of things. They were hardcore cinematic filmmakers, and so they thought that way. And I kept trying to clue them in. It's like, no, we gotta run and gun, man. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. It's like, well, you're gonna have to adapt because the ghosts aren't gonna wait for us, Or
yeah. That's always been a knife fight between cinema and reality TV and three camera TV is that if you're doing something, you got to run and gun on something like that, or it's not fun. And like you said, if we're trying to set up an establishing shot, we're going to miss crap happening. Things happen. You do a show that airs for an hour, which is really 43 minutes or 44 minutes of footage with and then you got intros. You watch this thing for an hour, there's 10 seconds of stuff that happens. You got to just space it out, you know. And if you're sitting there trying to set up an establishing shot and then the ghosts grab the girl's butt and we missed it, you know, then we're just going to have a boring show.
Yes. And you know, credit to the guy. He got beautiful footage of us doing our job, but it wasn't conducive to the environment we're used to working in, for starters. And we have JJ, our psychic, who on our team, and she was made to wait. Sorry?
Dynamite.
So not that JJ.
Oh, okay.
I knew what you were going for. So she was actually waiting out in the car because that's her vibe. That's what she does. She waits outside the space, goes in as cold as possible. Well, they had her waiting out there for like 2 or 3 hours, and usually it doesn't take that long. It's usually a quick little tech through, you know, baseline, spots of interest, and then you'll set JJ loose, and we just kind of record her and interact with her and the spirit world at the same time. But it was just so much of not a fight per se, but it was just the dynamics of a run and gun production meets a very structured film production was not working out. So
I can't wait. I got like this movie we're doing now is we got a director of photography and a cinematographer involved with our movie. Mm-hmm. And so Luke said in his comments, the problem with us is we're used to be running gunners with. So I mean, when you're involved in pro wrestling, when you're involved with live music, when you're involved with like reality TV, it's pretty run and gun. It's low budget entertainment, you know, low budget production. So when you're doing a movie, it's the converse. So it's frustrating for us to set up lighting and stuff like that and doing light tests on people's faces. We're like, let's just do the dang thing and go. And so we've got a cinematographer. His name's Jeremy Cantelli, and he's made our new movie look like it looks like a $90 million Hollywood production. I mean, this guy's insane, but we got to sit around and wait for him to test shots and get the right light. And we're sitting over there going, man, let's get through this. I can't handle it. Neither can Luke, but we got to. And now that we're looking back and we're editing this thing, we're like, holy cow, this looks terrific. And it was worth the wait. But in the meantime, you're sitting there beating your head against the wall going, I got to get out of this room.
I understand completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a more classic filmmaker myself when it comes to that type of thing. So it'll take a day to shoot 2 pages, maybe, if you're lucky. Yeah. Just get the lighting right and all the different angles, especially on a 1-camera shoot. I don't know if you had multiple cameras or not for your thing.
Sometimes, I mean, but we, I don't know, we do ours a little different too, and our movies are interesting. So I mean, but we also try to shoot stuff. You know, we write stuff we can shoot fast, if that makes sense. So
it does make sense, yeah.
Yeah, because it's all. The more you horse around, it becomes a money issue at that point. And now, you know, we started making movies during COVID when everybody had all the time, and now it's like, all right, we got to shoot this one shot. When can you come up? Well, I got, and then you're sitting there and trying to match everybody's schedules and the venue and the time of day and the time of year, and then you're like, holy cannoli, this is becoming an issue. So
you were available all the time before. Well, that was during
COVID, man. We got this movie knocked out in 2 months.
Yeah, it was interesting. I actually had to split my production, a short. You know, I'm doing a 30-minute thing for this. Based on the TOL books you saw the commercial for. So it's, but it took me 2 different weekends, so roughly 5 to 6 days, shooting days, to knock out 30 pages, roughly. And we still didn't get all the footage. I got to do all these pickups in a couple of weeks. It was just nuts. So it is time consuming, and if you want the look right, you have to sit around and do nothing for a while. Hurry up and wait.
What I was doing before this show is I'm matching up lips with ADR, and I'm looking and I'm like, why does it? And after a while, you're sitting there going, I know it's off. I can't tell if it's early. I can't tell if it's late. My brain is just goulash at this point. And I'm like, I can't match the lips and the words. And they're the same words. It's the same actor. It's the same this. And I can't. It's like, I can't.
Same take.
And, yeah. It's like, I gotta get up and go, because sometimes my brain just starts to.
I hear you. A pro tip, if you haven't done it already, you probably figured this out. But if you look at the peaks and valleys of the audio thing and try and match those up, you're usually right on.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like if it's two performances, and then you kind of sometimes have to slip it around a little bit.
You're taking two different performances in the same scene. Is that what you're doing?
ADR, like if we're in a situation where you're filming a movie and there's too much background noise, or something's wrong with the mic, and then you've got to have the actor redo the lines in a quiet place, and then you're matching it up. That could be a nightmare.
Oh, you didn't clack at all for your film?
No, that's a waste.
Oh, okay. See, I pooped all over that myself. I almost said a bad word. I used to crap all over that idea myself. This time, I did it kind of reluctantly, and it's been saving my butt in the editing room. Let me tell you.
Really,
so,
I edit. I'm a co-director. I wrote it. I edit, so I know what all this stuff is. I know
you know what it is, but especially if you're doing ADR matching, it turns into a nightmare, because I had to do that for something else on a previous project where I had to do, like, you got wild sound from the camera, and then you got the ADR thing, and you gotta hope they did it right. You're like, in your memory they did. That sounds about right. Even when you're doing the ADR session, you're pretty confident that they did a good match. It's just
all sorts of crazy stuff too. Like sometimes the headphone will bleed through the mic, and you're like,
yes, that happened to me.
Yeah, you're like, okay, now we got to figure out how to mute that, and make it sound natural. Yeah, it's sound. When you make a movie, this is for anybody out there who wants to make a movie. Everybody's worried about cinematography. These cameras are so advanced. You can sit there and point at a tree. Oh my God, it's beautiful. You win an Oscar. The devil in making a movie is sound. It always has been. It is the worst. It is, back when you're like, we didn't know about, way back when we're doing sketches and stuff like that, air conditioners, refrigerators, a damn light, oh my God. It's like things your human ear don't even hear when you're listening to it. It's like, and then you do a take and the air conditioner's off, and they're having a dialogue. And it's like, cut to the other guy's face.
Yeah.
Silent, goes back to the other person. Like, can't use it. Audio's terrible. So you got to learn. You got to learn how to, And then when we were shooting a hike or Camp Smokey with these movies that are in the woods.
Oh,
it's like, holy cow!
The force is noisier than you thought.
Well, and also, when did the Hells Angels come into town? We're doing a take, and you hear 1,000 motorcycles from 60 miles away going. And you're like, we gotta wait. We're out in the woods, and we gotta wait on human beings still.
All right. Yeah. Oh, good times. Oh man, yeah. The trials and tribulations of independent filmmaking. It's a lot of fun.
It's very rewarding. It is a lot of fun. It is, the editing is the killer though, man. That's the thing. It's like, it's one thing when we're out at a location, and we are the bad news bearers of filmmaking. I mean, we get in a lot of trouble. We've been kind of kicked out of a couple places filming this movie, and we were at a community center. The problem is we're doing the newest one is sci-fi. Our new movie, Showdown in Secret City, is about Oak Ridge. Have you ever heard of Oak Ridge?
Sure.
Okay, a lot of people haven't. But Oak Ridge is a town near Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's kind of near the Smokies. That's where they made the atom bombs for World War II. And actually, the bombs they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they were there for a while. And there was a third bomb, allegedly. Now, the thing that's interesting about living there is my father worked there. A bunch of friends of mine worked there. And when you talk to them, they all have different stories that don't interact at all. The thing about Oak Ridge, it's crazy. It was built in the 40s. It's a city that popped up overnight. The people that worked for Oak Ridge had no idea what they were doing. Some people thought they worked for the phone company. Some people thought they were involved in chemical warfare. They had no idea. It was like everybody was separated, and there's all these signs that were around that were really Cold War and hot war propaganda about whatever you see here, keep it quiet. The enemy's watching, and all this like paranoid stuff because we were in an active war, right?
Right.
And so, but the stories, so the war happened, but Oak Ridge is still there, and there's all these different types of labs. So if I had a friend work over here at this lab, it's different than this lab. I had one friend say there's no security. There's like a guy in a gate and somebody with 6 machine guns. A group of 5 people with 5 machine guns could take over the place. I have another friend saying they've got rocket launchers, they've got snipers, so every place is different. And then you hear different stories about, there's a place that they experiment with portals. Have you heard this story about Oak Ridge?
I've not heard about the Oak Ridge portals, no.
Okay, so there's a story that's out there. And again, these are all kind of, I could see it. And I've been out shooting B-roll in Oak Ridge around the labs. It's very Russian-esque, Chernobyl-looking. Okay. There's a lot of roads that say you can't go on this point. I went and filmed at a place. The next day, they had no trespassing signs and a guard there. I had people following me when I was shooting B-roll in the Oak Ridge, and it's like this giant, just rolling place where there's all these like little weird buildings and government. I mean, it looks like Chernobyl or Pripyat or something. I mean, there's all this weird kind of government, stay out of here. The water looks weird. There's a lot of, like talk about radioactivity. So everybody has all these different stories. Like I've heard they're experimenting with sharks and giant tanks and trying to weaponize sharks. I've heard that there's a place where
laser beams on their head.
Yeah, just like Austin Powers, trying to get them to carve their initials into the walls or something. Right. I've heard of places they're screwing around with dark matter, and they don't even know what they're really doing. And one day they accidentally change the weather. The sky green. I mean, there's all this mystery.
Oh yeah, Oak Ridge. The green sky over Oak Ridge. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I know the guy that was there when that happened. So there was, and he was an advisor on this movie too. So, but there's also this one where this guy was talking about he's security, and the security at Oak Ridge. They just don't hire some yuck off of the Kelly girls or manpower. It's these people have high clearances, or they've done things like protect heads of state, things like this. So they get those guys, and they're sitting there talking, and this one guy goes, the other guy goes, what do you do with your security? And the guy's like, I protect what comes out of portals. And the guy's like, what?
Okay.
And he goes, yeah, we are there in case something comes out of a portal. And they're allegedly in Oak Ridge still trying to open up portals. And one day the guy said, now, I have no confirmation that anything ever came out physically and tried to kill people or whatever, but I did hear this story from a very reliable source that one day they opened up a portal, and when the portal opened, they heard this ungodly noise that no human being has ever heard in their lives. It came out of the portal. Everybody in the room thought they were going to die immediately. They thought they opened up something that was heinous and evil, like something like
almost to hell kind of a deal.
Yeah. Okay. And it wasn't like creatures, but it was like they've opened up a portal in like a black hole or something. It sounded like something insane. And they had to shut the portal down immediately. And all the scientists and stuff, they were basically crapping themselves because they were like, we're dead. Yeah. So that kind of stuff is happening, and that's what this movie is about. We're making a movie about the mystery surrounding Oak Ridge, but we're kind of conflating it with AI and what's happening with AI these days. So
I see.
This movie is a comedy, science fiction, horror movie about a bunch of filmmakers forced to make a movie with the Oak Ridge supercomputer, which is the largest computer in the world, and we make a movie that the AI wants to make, and then it becomes a worldwide sensation, and the human filmmakers take exception to that, and then it starts to become the robots, AI, and human beings are then at that point are in a small scale war with each other in Oak Ridge.
Small scale Terminator war. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's and this movie it's a comedy first, but it's also science fiction and horror. It's very funny, but there's a lot of, in the movie itself, there's a lot of serious, the humans try to go through religion and intellect, and then there's all these things that we do to try to reason with and try to rationalize where we are with technology. But basically the movies that we make are morals. There's morals to each story, but basically we have created what's going to destroy us, basically, is the moral of the story. I mean, it's
gotcha.
Like our own hands we're on a road that we can't go back on. I mean, with AI, with technology the way it is, I mean, I think in 20 years, 30 years, it's going to be very normal to see Johnny come home with a AI robot with pink hair, and we all have to sit around the dinner table and pretend it's a real person. Or and we're going to be called a racist a-hole if we don't accept Sally, who's got "Made in Taiwan" written on her butt. I mean, this is where we're headed, I think, as a society, and
that's intriguing.
Yeah,
I like it. That's a great concept. I like it.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're headed.
Very cool.
Heidi made it home.
Thanks, Heidi. I'm glad you're good. Luke brought up Silent Whispers scenario regarding.
Tell you what, Luke is a very verbose, articulate, intelligent, funny man, and you should have him on the show. And then Luke can tell you about Silent Whispers.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm not getting into that. Let him tell that story.
Luke, pay attention to the very end. We're about to wrap it up in a little bit, actually. Pay attention to, or get the email from Johnny. Well, Johnny, Vinnie. It says so right there. Okay, now your name's Johnny.
My brother's John.
From Vinnie. Get the email from Vinnie. We'll have you on. Robosexual. That's pretty funny. Is that what you guys are calling it?
Need to put it in the movie.
That's a good idea. Oh, too funny. That's great. So when you're writing this stuff up, is it just you, or does your entire team kick into all this, or
it's a team effort?
Stuff into the pot? Okay.
Yeah, it's a team effort. I mean, this idea came when Travis, we were shooting The Hike, and he came. There's a movie that I kind of wrote, and Luke's kind of wrote too, but we all kind of shape it and change it. And Luke is a great idea man. He's got some really good ideas, and then we've taken some from our investigations. So, but this idea, Travis actually said we should have filmed a sketch. We used to make sketches. That's kind of how we got into making movies. We used to do these skits. He said we need to make a sketch about this. AI has written a movie about Batman, and it was terrible. And this was back in 2020, and AI was much different than it is now.
Yeah.
So in this movie is that script the AI wrote in 2020 about Batman. And then we had to change the name. It's not Batman in the movie, but you can probably figure it out. It's a Batman-based thing.
Okay.
And it's a terrible, terrible script.
Yeah.
But AI came up with it. And it was like, somebody just sat down and said, write a Batman movie. And some of the stuff it came up with was insane. But it totally, no human could come up with the stream of consciousness. So that has taken 5 years for us to make it into a movie, but it finally came around. It was like, how do we make that thing that happened on the internet into a movie with AI? Because I personally hate AI, all AI art, all that stuff. I hate it. I come from a family of artists. It's very threatening. AI doing stuff with medical shit, medical stuff with like
Julie down.
Human brains trying to fix, that's great. But when it comes or like writing a document, if you don't want to hire a lawyer, wonderful. But when the artwork and the music and stuff, we don't need AI for that. Screw that.
I hear you. I am guilty of using AI for the artwork on this, like the banners.
Except for you. That's great. You guys are great. I'm talking about everybody else. I didn't mean these.
Gotcha. Well, no, I'm not insulted at all. I totally I take your point. Absolutely. I totally do. But
I work for people that use it. They'll use it as promotion for the shows and stuff. And I just have to sit there and go, I wouldn't do that. But yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I understand the, for lack of a better term, the threat, because I was driving, wasn't even a couple, 3 days ago, and this guy was talking to his AI companion on the phone. It's like, I want to do an idea about this, that, and the other thing. It was some business concept. Hey, that's a great idea. Yeah, I know. Let's break that down. Give me step 1, step 2, step 3. And it's like, yo, you could have done that with, save the idea, go home, write it down a little bit, bust it out, do a little work for it. But that was a little frightening to me.
It can be used. Like, I'm a comedian too. And I have a story that's happened in my life. I never figured out how to be funny with it as far as a bit for a stage. So what the story was I played in a band called Pimpin' Ain't Easy years ago, we did a lot of 3 white guys doing a lot of hip hop and funk and being very vulgar and satirical to the audience, and people loved us. Mm-hmm. So we were playing a song like No Diggity or My Pony or something that girls liked.
Yeah. And
we were outside at a bar, and a woman was walking, and this was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and she was walking with her dog, and she saw the show going on. And she brings the dog over to the group that's dancing. Everybody's dancing, like 48-year-old people dancing sexy, that kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. She gets down on the ground and starts, the dog and her start rolling around on the ground together. And she starts making out with the dog. Tongue on tongue. And we're sitting here, we're horny, let's do it, ride it. My pony. And we just sat there and we all stop at the same time because this is a horrible thing to see. Yeah. And the woman's like, and then the lead singer goes, what are you doing? And she's like, and she was like, I can't believe you stopped. And it's like, you're making out with a dog. So anyway, long story short, I could never think about making this into a comedy bit because I couldn't think of a punchline. I talked to AI about it. This happened, make it into a comedy thing. Now, it tried to do the beats of a comedian, and it did okay, but nothing was really funny until it extrapolated an idea that was really funny, and it said, can you imagine the next day at breakfast when the dog's sitting at the dinner table and the woman comes out and the dog goes, I can't believe you keep doing this. You got to cut this out. And that point, that idea of them having a conversation, now that was funny. So you can use that as a tool. I still kind of think it's cheating, but it did it gives the punch. If I'm doing a stand-up comedy bit about that scene, it is a good, funny way to end it. So I think there is some use for AI, but doing the music and doing stuff and claiming it's art and stuff like that. It's one thing to do like a banner or something, but like say, this is the poster of this movie. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the show. This has been Paranormal Insight. I'm Tim Sedano. That's Vinnie, Funkmaster V, Vineyard. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. And check it out. Showdown in Secret City. It's coming in the next few months. It'll be streaming everywhere.
I'll be sure and put that in the description of the thing. So I'll need the website for all that stuff.
You got it.
All right, man. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time on Paranormal Insight. Vinny, stick around afterward. If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to discuss on the show, please email us at paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. That's paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com.